Yeah, well, this is a thinking man's show, Jamie, as you know.
Yeah, because you think, do I have it on the right channel? Welcome to Sports Center with Jay and Dan, brought to you by McDonald's. It's our last show of the week. Last show before you go on vacation.
Yeah, taking next week off. Well deserved, says everyone on the crew.
Didn't hear that uttered in the hallways, but
Yeah, that was me. I made that up.
Thursday nighter. All eyes on one division, this stinky one.
The worst division in football, the NFC East, but a chance for the Philadelphia Eagles, with one win so far this season, to move into first place in the division. That's how bad the NFC East is. They were taking on the Eagles, the Eagles are taking on the Giants. Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, the only QBs with more interceptions than touchdowns this season. Late opening quarter, it's Danny Dimes to Golden Tate. And that's a real nice catch. 39 yards for the score. The former Eagle picking up his first TD of the year and treating the goalpost like a punching bag, which reminded us of Vi Sikahema's similar touchdown celebration with the Eagles back in 1992. Third quarter, this is what everyone was talking about in this game. Daniel Jones with the run of the century.
Gets a block, takes off, and he is gone. Trying to stay upright, and he trips. Absolutely all alone, and he trips.
I mean, it's still funny. 80-yard run, gets the 20, he trips. This is Ian Eagle now with the call on radio. Well, Jones actually reached the top speed of over 21 miles an hour. That's the fastest of any QB since 2018. And Patrick Mahomes did come into his defense on Twitter. But when your own teammates are laughing at you, well, you just have to laugh back. That's what we do on this show when our crew laughs at us. Fourth quarter, under 7 to play, 3rd and goal. Jones, Sterling Shepard, first touchdown catch of the season. The Giants looked to be in control of this game. They were up by 11. Wentz and the Eagles now down 5, just over 2 minutes to work with. Leading a drive downfield on 1st and 10. Carson Wentz on the run. He's got Richard Rodgers for the first down and more. 30-yard completion. Later, 46 seconds to go, 1st and goal. Yeah, penalty moved him back there. And Wentz with a perfect throw. Boston Scott with a beautiful catch. Philly missed a 2-point conversion. They took a 1-point lead with 40 seconds left on the clock. 3 plays into the ensuing Giants drive, just under 30 seconds on the clock. Jones
in trouble.
he fumbles, the Eagles recover. Brandon Graham knocked it up. Vinny Curry with the recovery.
Graham knocked it out. Vinny
Not a great year for the New York area football teams. Eagles win. They pick up their 2nd win of the season. And yes, the Philadelphia Eagles are now in first in the NFC East. We should mention that 80-yard run. Longest run of the season by the Giants. Previous longest run was a 49-yard run, also by Daniel Jones. And that 80-yard run also eclipses the career-long run of his star running back, the injured Saquon Barkley. That's right. Daniel Jones' career longest run is longer than Saquon Barkley's career high run. It's quite something.
PGA Tour golf this week, and no matter what, Tiger Woods will be around for the weekend because there's no cut at the Zozo Championship. And after Thursday, Tiger very thankful for that. Zozo, by the way, is a Japanese online clothing company. Japanese online clothing company. Tiger with a chance to break the PGA's all-time wins record this week, tied with Sam Snead at 82. Began the day on the back 9. His second from between 2 trees, a Zach Galifianakis spinoff. Left-handed finds the rough, led to a bogey. On the tee at 13, Woods looking to defend last year's win at the Zozo. This one's headed right. Woods a 5-time winner. Sherwood Country Club finds the rough. Last time we saw Woods was at Wingfoot, missed the cut. Chance to salvage a bogey. Let's see what happens here. He does not get it to go. 3 over through 4 after a double bogey 7. Birdie attempt on 14. He's on the dance floor, but the band's in the other room. 90 feet. So the goal is just to get this close. And then you can two-putt it, and then you can be on your way to the next. Oh, it goes in! Tiger making his first birdie of the day. Last year, Woods opened with a 64 when this tournament was in Japan, and he won. Mackenzie Hughes, the Canadian, bogey-free through his first 15. From the rough, this is trying to go up and down on 16. Yeah, tap that in for par. A bogey-free opening round of 67 for the Canuck. He's tied for 9th. Tiger on 4 after making the turn 3 over, electing to putt from the fringe. That was a bad decision. Misjudged the read, led to a 3rd bogey of the day. On 5, terrible lie. He's on some kind of maintenance road. Another miscue on the par 5, just buries it in the thick stuff. Woods salvaged a par, but finished with a 4 over 76. He is tied for 74th. 18th hole at the Zozo was causing trouble. John Rahm, second shot.
He figured it out.
Goodness.
But
That's in someone's soup. Bogeyed the hole. Rory McIlroy on 18. His tee shot.
Able to maybe pull it off again.
Okay, so pay attention here. You're going to lose sight of it, but the ball's going to come back into view after it goes off a tree and comes backwards.
That comes right back off.
And then onto the cart path. Rolls down the hill. After punching back to the fairway, his 3rd misses the green, and McIlroy. You tell me if he's frustrated or not. McIlroy snapping his iron, double bogeyed the hole.
You don't see Rory.
It was his last hole of the day. Phil Mickelson on 18 from 176 yards.
where is that going? It better hook.
Draw on his approach, finds the green, settles inside 6 feet, and made birdie. Mickelson, one of only 14 players to birdie 18.
That was crazy how far left.
Well, 17 made bogey or worse. Tiger's 76 on Thursday is his worst round at Sherwood Country Club in 49 competitive rounds. Sherwood Country Club has 4 par 5s. Tiger bogeyed 2 of them, doubled another, and it's the first time he's ever gone bogey or worse on 3 par 5s in one round in his PGA Tour career.
Beautiful stuff as we walk over to the other set to chat on our final show of the week. And of course, we're mailing this in. And producer Tim, while you were doing those tennis highlights, said you guys need to go pretty quick in this chat block. So let's settle in. We're going to go super slow.
Las Vegas Raiders have placed 4 starting offensive lineman safety Jonathan Abram on the reserve COVID-19 list. Team announced Thursday. Tackle Trent Brown is already on the reserve COVID-19 list, meaning Las Vegas could potentially be without all 5 starting O-linemen for Sunday's game. Wow. When they host the Buccaneers. Okay, I flew through that. We saved some time.
There you go, Tim. You're welcome. The 5-1 Baltimore Ravens bolstered their defensive line by acquiring Yannick Ngakoue from the Vikings for a 2021 third-rounder and a 2022 conditional 5th-rounder. Ngakoue has 5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and a couple of forced fumbles in 6 games this season. On the offensive side of the football, Baltimore plans to sign veteran wide receiver Dez Bryant to the practice squad if a workout goes well and he passes a physical. Baltimore worked out Bryant in August. He last played in the NFL in 2017 with the Cowboys, spent 8 years in Dallas, 73 receiving TDs. In November 2018, he signed with the Saints, but a couple of days later, he tore his Achilles and sat out the 2019 season. Mike Garafolo.
NFL Network star reporter Mike Garafolo.
There's a nicer guy on the planet than our NFL insider Mike Garafolo. Mike Garafolo joins us wearing a beautiful suit. Mike, we start with the Ravens. They acquire Yannick Ngakoue, big deal, and then they're close to signing the veteran Dez Bryant. Bryant hasn't played in a few years. Who will be the most significant player for this team?
Look, Bryant is an offensive player. He's a big personality. He's a wide receiver. But I'm going to go Ngakoue on this one because I think in this defensive front where you really can't focus too much attention on one guy, you've got to kind of spread it around because there's just so many guys up front that you've got to deal with. That's going to give him some opportunities to make some plays. You know, I talked to Brandon Williams, the nose tackle. I said, are you getting double teamed as much as you used to? He says, yes, I am, but the double teams don't last as long. They start to double team me, then they got to peel off to deal with somebody else. So Ngakoue's going to have his chances, number one. And number two, they've got Matt Judon, who's in a contract year. He's their other pass rusher. I think now they look toward Ngakoue, a guy that they gave up draft picks for, as the guy they're going to sign long term, and maybe Judon walks. So this has an impact not only on their defensive front this year, but also what it may look like next year and going forward.
The big news this week was made by the Miami Dolphins. They made their quarterback switch, so they turned their offense over to Tua Tagovailoa. He takes over for Fitzpatrick, who had just won 2 straight games. So does he continue that trend? Does Tua do that, or is this going to be a neutral kind of move?
I believe they're still going to compete with Tua. You know, this is not going to be our colleague at NFL Network, Kurt Warner, compared it to 2004 when he had the Giants in the playoff push, and I covered that team closely. And then he comes out, Eli Manning comes in, and the team goes downhill. But it was a move they made to start getting Manning some game reps. Well, that's what they're doing with Tua, the Dolphins are. But this is a different era. These quarterbacks come ready to play and ready to compete, and he has really wowed them behind the scenes with his knowledge of the game and what he's done in practice. So I really do believe he's going to keep this team competitive. He's going to add a lot of excitement that they're looking for from this franchise, and I think they're going to win ball games with him. Now, if you ask me which quarterback they have a better shot of making the playoffs with, I think it's Fitzpatrick, but I only think it's by that much, to be honest with you.
We've been talking about Antonio Brown all week. Lots of teams potentially interested. No one more than the Seattle Seahawks, apparently. Are the Seahawks close to getting a deal done with Antonio Brown?
No, but they're interested, and they've been interested, and I would say right now it's where it's always been. I mean, I know that there's a report now because we're getting closer to Week 8, but the Seahawks haven't really had organizationally discussed this to the point where they say, okay, let's go get this guy. They're still kind of keeping a finger on the pulse here, but not really making the strong push. In fact, they haven't had contract discussions with him. They don't know what he is going to want to come back right now. So, yes, I expect the Seahawks to be in the mix. I don't expect a lot of teams to be in the mix, so let's just take this one step at a time, because there's still a couple of more hurdles and a couple more teams that really have to figure out how strongly they're going to be in play before Antonio Brown comes back. I don't think this thing's going to happen really quickly. Could take a couple of weeks if it gets done at all.
He's a man that always clears the hurdles we give him, Mike Garafolo.
Thank you, guys.
You know, if you watch NFL Red Zone from the NFL Network on TSN.ca and the TSN app, you might see Mike Garafolo.
Yep.
Right? He might pop up somewhere on a sideline or something like that. So that's a great reason to check out the Red Zone from the NFL Network with our good buddy Scott Hanson, who's an incredible broadcaster.
Connor Brown has signed a 3-year, $10.8 million contract with the Ottawa Senators. The deal avoids arbitration and carries an average annual value of $3.6 million. Brown had 16 goals, 43 points with the Sens last season, his first with that team. Sens fans, they got to be happy with what's going on.
I was just going to say that, Dan. For a fan base that has had to deal with so much on and off the ice for the last few years, this has to feel pretty good to get all these guys signed. A lot of great young players, great coach. Speaking of great young players, the Canucks have avoided arbitration with Jake Virtanen. The Langley, BC native has signed a 2-year deal with an average annual value of $2.5 million. With Tyler Toffoli joining the Habs, Virtanen ready to take on more responsibility in the lineup. And for Canucks fans, this guy is so polarizing. 18 goals in the regular season. Then after the pause was scratched initially. Conditioning was an issue, up and down in the playoffs. When he's good, he's great. And you see the potential there, so they're betting on that.
Claude Julien spoke to the media for the first time since Max Domi was traded to Columbus. The day after being dealt, the former Canadian suggested that he and Julien's relationship during the postseason deteriorated due to a lack of communication once Julien moved him to the 4th line.
We started training camp. Obviously, Max wasn't there for the first week, so we put our group together. We started, and all of a sudden, you know, we see both those guys, and especially Kotkaniemi, really doing well. So for us, the first thing we thought of was like, hey, we got an opportunity to have 4 good lines here. It's not so much that it didn't work out. Sometimes this is what hockey's all about. You know, you end up with a situation where now Max became, I guess, a little bit expendable because we had those guys do so well. And at the same time, we were able to get a big player that we really needed on the wing in Josh Anderson in exchange for him. So Max was such a good player, we were able to get a good player in return.
Yeah, the emergence of Suzuki and Kotkaniemi and then Philip Danault, there's no spot for him.
And Domi gets a fresh start in Columbus.
Yeah, it's great.
Julian said he's feeling great. He had that health scare, so he's feeling good.
And of course, that leads to the top 10 Dan moments.
Now I believe it's the top 10 fan moments. Fan moments.
That's my mistake, and that's too bad. Because I had already queued up this Dan moment from Thursday night when Dan somehow served as an assistant coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, but still made it back to Scarborough in time to do the show. And he's wearing his mask, so no fine for the team. Good job, Dan. Mighty Heart tries to become just the 8th horse to win Canada's OLG Triple Crown and first since Wando in 2003. The Breeders' Stakes goes Saturday, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, right here on TSN.
As you can imagine, it's incredibly hard to get a horse into the Breeders' Stakes. It's a very elite competition.
That's right, Dan. Many horses tried and came up just short. Let's see some of them. In our popular segment, it's Breeders' Stakes Rejected Horses. First, it's Regrettable Charles. He's in the brute category. Favorite activity, stomping apples. Fun fact, Regrettable Charles doesn't say nay. He says bang, bang.
Next, it's Little Mister, the toddler category. Favorite activity, staring into a well. Fun fact, this horse is way too short to ride.
And finally, it's, oh no, how'd he get in there? This category's half horse. He loves sitting in holes. When you pull him out, he'll get right back in there. That's half horse. This has been Breeders' Stakes. Rejected horses.
Yes. Saturday's game between Alabama and Tennessee is going to include 2 of the most impactful Canadian receivers in the NCAA as they prepare for this matchup. Brampton, Ontario natives John Mechie and Joshua Palmer discuss how they feel about this unprecedented time for talent from this country.
I take pride in that. I take pride in that because we are kind of starting this new wave, and we are kind of the front runners for this new wave of talent coming out of Canada. And it's something that we both keep in mind a lot, and something that we both take pride in, I would say, kind of putting on for our country more than our city, just a country as a whole, and all the young athletes coming out of there, kind of showing them what could be done.
You know, I never really thought about it until you kind of break it down, because I feel like we're so in the moment of just trying to develop as players and develop as receivers that you don't really think about what's going on externally. But like I said, when you break it down like that, it's kind of it's a great feeling, you know, to have people look up to you or to know what exactly you're doing for a country or a city. But we just embrace it, and, you know, we try to make the best of it. And this is only the beginning for us, to be honest. There's a lot more that we still have to prove.
Mechie and Palmer aren't the only Canadian wide receivers making a big impact south of the border. For more, head to tsn.ca. It's a website where Dave Naylor takes a deeper look into the upcoming crop of Canadian wideouts turning heads in the NCAA, including a promising freshman playing for the top team in the country.
That's very cool.
Air Delivered, brought to you by McDelivery. Carson Wentz led the Eagles back from an 11-point deficit with under 5 minutes to play by throwing for 2 touchdown passes. Hit Greg Ward Jr. for a 3-yard touchdown and an 18-yard strike to Boston Scott. With that victory, Eagles now lead the NFC East. Carson Wentz delivered in the clutch.
That leads us to the Jannies. These are the best and worst plays from Thursday Night Football so far this year. We're going to begin with Nick Foles of the Chicago Bears to Jimmy Graham of the Chicago Bears. Graham already has 4 TD catches this season after recording just 5 combined in his last 2 years with the Green Bay Packers.
Again, this is best and worst plays from Thursday Night Football so far this year. Bengals, Browns. Joe Burrow has a mix-up with the center. Ball snapped too early. Wasn't looking. Huge loss. Has to dive on the ball. Mix-up happened because the Bengals quarterback tried to call a timeout. Yeah, it's been that kind of... Well, it's always that kind of year. The Bengals.
Brett Rippon, whose dad is Canadian, his uncle Mark is Canadian, beat the Jets at his first NFL start, and it was helped out by this 48-yard TD pass to Jerry Jeudy, another rookie. Should have been picked off.
We have to show this face shield that Andy Reid wore in Week 1. Set social media ablaze when people doing memes and discussing how Reid's shield kept fogging up. See, that's what we're pointing out is the fog up factor. Eventually, they figured it out now.
Yeah, and now everyone's wondering why they don't all wear those face shields. They seem to make more sense than the masks as a coach. Ryan Fitzpatrick to Jakeem Grant for the first down.
And gets some extra yards.
Should be down by contact. Jags rookie defensive back C.J. Henderson does not tackle him, and Grant grabs a little more yardage there.
Broncos and Jets near midfield. Sam Darnold. Okay, they've got him. No, they don't. They had him in their sights. Avoids the sack and then ends up going 46 yards and for a touchdown. That's the best play of the Jets season.
That's the best play of the Jets season, and Danny Dimes' stumble at the 20 was the best play of the Giants season. How about Burrow again? Tyler Boyd gets both feet down for the TD. The Bengals have not been winning a lot of games, but Joe Burrow, #1 overall pick, 4 300-plus yard games already this year.
And Bucs and Bears, less than a minute to go, 4th and 5. Tom Brady's throw is incomplete. And he's like, okay, let's try one more play. Oh, that was 4th down.
Oh, yeah.
That one there. His teammates covered for him.
Yeah.
His coach covered for him. Bucs lost the game. Tom now makes fun of that moment.
Yeah. The LeBron, when he tweeted out about LeBron, he did the Photoshop thing. Well, he probably didn't do it himself. I don't think Tom Brady can do Photoshop.
But he's good at computers.
Okay, maybe he is. Maybe you're right, Dan. Highlight of the night is I was listening to the Jay and Dan podcast brought to you by McDonald's, our latest episode with Manny Osborne Parody and Ray Ferraro, as I was driving home from yesterday's show. And I said to myself, those guys really know what they're doing.
Worst play of the day, Zozo Championship, Andrew Landry.
Makes it even better for all of us.
Yeah, the curb, I always think I'm going to do that, but I don't. Thank goodness.
Oh, yeah, the cleats on the curb. Never good.
He's okay. He's okay. Had a laugh about it. Did not injure himself.
Think he's going to hear about that from his buddies?
Now we could have selected this as the worst play of the day, but we decided it's more worthy of the highlight of the night, because what play is going to be talked about more than this one from Thursday night? No plays.
How does he lose his balance here? That's the thing.
And for 80 yards, it was pretty spectacular stuff.
Absolutely all alone.
I get it. You know, you're too amped up. He's not confident. He should have been looking ahead.
I have never in my life been running alone and fallen.
Okay. Well, we're talking about a professional athlete here. Dan, you said the Sherwood Country Club has 4 par 5s. It has 5 par 5s. It's a lot of par 5s. And the Raonic highlights, you said Raonic capitalizes on his 5th break point. You actually said stabilizes instead of capitalizes.
Oh, I thought
And in the Jannies, I said Brett Rippon was a rookie. I knew that was wrong. He's in his 2nd year. But overall, I think this is a pretty fun show.
Yeah, you know what makes it a really good show?
What's that, Dan?
Bloop Bloops.
Bloop Bloops. Enjoy. Toolsy, you kick us off. You're going to do great on this one. I know you're a big American Ninja Warrior guy. I got my own lake and mass.
And I got my Whalers jersey on.
What accents are we doing?
In the main event, undefeated lightweight champ Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Whoa, that was all right. Let's watch that again. I've got to see these things like 40 times to understand exactly what happened.
Oh no, what the? Got hand sanitizer on me. Get it together.
Figure it out. What a great show. I thought that was one, and I was saying goodbye. We have 5 more seconds.
Now we can. Here we go.